I stood outside my mom's glass door on Christmas Eve, snow falling on my shoulders, watching my family laugh around the decorated tree inside. My sister Kirsten cracked the door open just enough to say, "Mom says you can't come in. You didn't contribute enough this year, so you're not part of Christmas." I watched my mom glance toward the door, then turn back to her guests without even acknowledging me. I stood there freezing, holding a casserole I'd made from scratch, realizing they'd planned this. But 6 months later, when everything fell apart for them, guess who came crawling back? My name's Hannah. I'm 26 years old. And this is the story of how I stopped being the daughter they could use and became the one they couldn't afford to lose. I worked as a medical billing specialist at a local clinic. Steady income, nothing flashy. I wasn't the daughter who married rich or landed some prestigious career. That was Kirsten, my younger sister, the real estate agent, married to Trevor, a dentist with a nice practice downtown. Growing up, I heard the same question on repeat. Why can't you be more like Kirsten? Kirsten got straight A's. I got B's and worked part-time. Kirsten dated the quarterback. I dated the guy in the library. Kirsten's wedding had 200 guests and a live band. I wasn't even engaged. My mom valued appearances above everything else. She hosted elaborate holidays to impress the neighbors and relatives. Perfect decorations, perfect food, perfect family photos. And me? I was the reliable one. I showed up early to cook. I stayed late to clean. I babysat my cousin's kids during dinner so the adults could talk. I did the grunt work and never got credit, but I told myself it was fine. I had my small apartment. I had close friends. I was learning to stand on my own. I wasn't the daughter who brought home someone impressive. I didn't drive a luxury car or post perfect photos, but I had something they never valued: integrity. And I was about to find out just how much that mattered. If you've ever been the forgettable one in your family, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Seriously, I read every single one. 2 weeks before Christmas, I got a text from my mom. "We need to talk about the holidays." I figured it was about what dish to bring. I showed up at her house excited to help plan, maybe pick out a dessert recipe together like we used to. I walked into the kitchen and found my mom and Kirsten sitting at the table with a list spread out between them. "Oh, good, you're here," my mom said without looking up. "We're finalizing contributions." I sat down. "Contributions?" Kirsten slid the paper toward me. "Everyone's pitching in this year. Aunt Linda's doing desserts. Trevor and I are covering the ham and wine." My mom tapped the list with her pen. "We're asking everyone to contribute $200 for decorations." $200. That was a lot on my budget. But I didn't want to be that person, the one who complained about money at Christmas. "Okay," I said. "I can do that. And I'll make my casserole, the one everyone likes." My mom smiled tightly. "Perfect." I paid the $200 the next day, Venmoed it directly to my mom. December 23rd, I texted her. "What time should I come help decorate tomorrow?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "Actually, we've decided to keep this year small. Just immediate family who've really contributed." I stared at my phone. I texted back. "I contributed $200 and I'm making food." "What do you mean?" My phone rang. My mom's name on the screen. "Hannah?" she said, her tone cold and flat. "Kirsten and Trevor have been so generous. They're paying for most of this. You've always just done the bare minimum. We think it's best if you sit this one out." I couldn't breathe. "Are you uninviting me from Christmas?" "Don't be dramatic. You're just not in a position to really participate this year. Maybe next year when you're more established. Established. Like I was some kind of failure." I hung up. My hands were shaking. I realized then Kirsten had been in her ear, positioning herself as the golden daughter, making me look small by comparison. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding, that my mom didn't really mean it. So Christmas Eve, I showed up anyway, casserole in hand, hope in my chest. I walked up to the glass door and knocked. Inside, I could see them. Aunt Linda, my cousins, Kirsten and Trevor by the fireplace, my mom pouring wine. Kirsten came to the door. She opened it just wide enough to block me. Mom says you can't come in. You didn't contribute enough this year, so you're not part of Christmas. Behind her, I saw my mom glance toward the door. Our eyes met for half a second. Then she turned back to her guests like I didn't exist. I drove home alone, the casserole still warm on the passenger seat, tears streaming down my face. But something shifted inside me that night. I'd spent 26 years trying to earn a spot at that table. That night, I stopped trying. The next morning, I woke up to my mom's Facebook post. Blessed to spend the holidays with my real family. Photos of everyone laughing. The tree. The table. Kirsten and Trevor holding wine glasses. Comments started rolling in. Where's Hannah? My stomach dropped. My mom replied publicly, Hannah's been so busy with her own life, she couldn't make it a lie. A flat-out, public lie. My aunt texted me privately. Are you okay? Your mom said you were too busy? I didn't know what to say, so I just sent back, I'm fine. But I wasn't fine. New Year's Day. There's this family tradition, brunch at this little restaurant downtown. We'd done it every year since I was 10. I wasn't invited. I found out because Kirsten posted an Instagram story. Mimosas, pancakes, the whole family, crammed into a booth. Caption, New Year, same amazing people. I texted my mom, why wasn't I told about brunch? Her reply came an hour later. I didn't think you'd want to come after skipping Christmas. Skipping, like it was my choice. A week later, I ran into them at the grocery store. I was picking up milk when I heard Kirsten's voice behind me. Oh, Hannah, did you need money? You look like you've been struggling. She said it loud enough that other shoppers turned to look. My mom was right next to her, nodding sympathetically. Honey, if you need help, just ask. We know your job isn't, well, you know. My face burned. People were staring. I forced a smile. I'm fine, thanks. I turned to leave, but I heard Kirsten whisper to my mom, loud enough for me to hear, quiet enough to pretend she didn't mean to. She's always been too proud to admit when she's failing. I walked to my car shaking. They weren't just cutting me out. They were enjoying it. February came. My phone rang. My mom's name. I almost didn't answer. Hannah, hi. Her voice was sweet, warm. I've been thinking, maybe I was too harsh. Family is family, right? Hope flickered in my chest. I'd like that, Mom. Good, because I need a favor. You're good with medical billing, right? Kirsten's having some issues with Trevor's dental practice finances. Could you look over some records? For free, of course. Family helps family. The hope died. So you don't want to apologize, I said slowly. You want free labor. Why do you always have to be so sensitive? Her tone flipped, sharp now. This is why Kirsten says you're difficult. I'm not doing it. Fine. Don't come crying to me when you need something. She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, and something clicked. I wasn't going to collapse. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to be strategic. I started journaling every interaction, saving screenshots of texts, Facebook posts, Instagram, comments. I realized the pattern. My mom only reached out when she needed something. Then she'd toss me aside again. I told my coworker Jenna about it over lunch. She'd become one of my closest friends. You know they're never going to change, right? She said. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I didn't have an answer yet, but I was starting to figure it out. What my mom and Kirsten didn't know, because they'd never bothered to ask, was that I'd been building something. Over the past year, I'd been taking online courses, healthcare administration, financial consulting, my boring job at the clinic. It gave me expertise that was actually in high demand. I'd started a side business helping small medical practices organize their billing and finances. By March, I had 6 steady clients. I was making almost double my clinic salary. I'd saved enough to put a down payment on a small house, a 2-bedroom bungalow with a backyard. I closed escrow in April and told no one in my family because no one asked. But there was something else they didn't know. For months, I'd been visiting my Grandma Rose every week, helping her with finances, managing her medications, taking her to doctor's appointments. Grandma Rose had always been fond of me. She'd told me more than once she was disappointed in how my mom treated me. One afternoon in late April, she mentioned she was updating her will. "I want to make sure the right people are taken care of," she said. I didn't ask what she meant. I wasn't there for her money. I was there because I loved her. But karma has a funny way of keeping score. In early May, I got a call from an attorney named Daniel. "Your grandmother has requested your presence for an estate planning meeting," he said. My heart dropped. "Is she okay?" "She's perfectly fine," he assured me. "This is just standard estate planning." I met him at his office the following week. Grandma Rose was already there, seated, across from Daniel's desk, sharp as ever. "Hannah, sit down," she said, patting the chair next to her. Daniel folded his hands. "Your grandmother wants to update her will and has requested you be present for this conversation." Grandma Rose looked at me. "I'm not getting any younger, honey. I want to make sure my assets go to someone who actually cares." "Grandma," she held up a hand. "Your mother calls me twice a year. Kirsten only visits when she wants something. You're the only one who shows up." Daniel explained the details. Grandma's estate included her paid-off home, worth about $400,000, plus savings and investments totaling around $150,000. She wanted to leave the majority to me, smaller amounts to my mom and Kirsten. I felt sick. "Grandma, I don't want your money. I just want you here." She smiled and took my hand. "I know, honey. That's exactly why you're getting it." The papers were drawn up. I was listed as the primary beneficiary and healthcare power of attorney. Before I left, Grandma Rose squeezed my hand. "Don't tell your mother yet. I'll handle it when the time is right." I promised. Meanwhile, my mom and Kirsten completely cut me off. My mom told relatives I'd chosen to distance myself from the family. Kirsten posted photos from Easter brunch. So grateful for real family who shows up. My birthday came in April. No text from my mom. Not even a Facebook post. It was the first time in my entire life Jenna asked me how I was handling it. "It hurts," I admitted, "but it also feels freeing." I focused on my business, my real friends, building my life, and then, in late May, everything changed. My phone rang, my mom's number, but it was Kirsten's voice, panicked, frantic. "Hannah, we need your help. Trevor's practice is being audited. We're drowning in paperwork and might lose everything. Can you come over tonight?" I let the silence hang. Then I said, "I thought I wasn't part of the family." "Don't be petty," she snapped. "This is serious." I paused. "I'll think about it." I hung up. Jenna was watching me from across the room, eyebrow raised. "Now they need me," I said. "Funny how that works." I agreed to meet them, but on my terms. At my mom's house, with both of them present. I walked into that kitchen, the same one where I'd been uninvited from Christmas, and sat down at the table. My mom's face was tight with stress. Kirsten looked exhausted. Hannah, we appreciate you coming. My mom began. We know things have been tense. I crossed my arms. Tense? You banned me from Christmas. You lied to the family about me. You've spent 6 months treating me like I don't exist. That's not tense. That's cruelty. Kirsten jumped in. Look, we don't have time for drama. Trevor's practice is in serious trouble. The IRS is involved. We need someone who understands medical billing and finances. That's you. I leaned back. So to be clear, you need free labor from the daughter who wasn't established enough for Christmas? We're family, my mom said defensively. Family helps each other. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Family? You mean the family you publicly humiliated me in front of? The family that excluded me from every gathering for half a year? I pulled out my phone and opened my screenshots folder. I documented everything, every lie you told, every time you rewrote history. My mom's face went pale. Why would you do that? Because I knew eventually you'd need something, and I wanted to remember exactly how you treated me when I had nothing to offer. I looked at Kirsten. You assumed I was struggling. You made fun of my little job at the clinic. I set my phone down. But I've been running my own consulting business for months. I make more than Kirsten now. I bought a house. I didn't tell you because you never asked about my life. You only called when you needed something. Kirsten's mouth fell open. You bought a house? 3 months ago. Closed escrow the week after you posted that Easter photo about real family. My mom's eyes filled with tears. Hannah, I'm sorry. I really am. I made mistakes, but we're desperate. You're not sorry I was hurt, I said quietly. You're sorry you need me. I pulled out a business card and slid it across the table. This is my professional rate. $200 an hour, 10-hour minimum retainer, paid up front. If you want my help with Trevor's audit, that's what it costs. Kirsten's face flushed red. You'd charge your own family? I stood up. You're right. Family shouldn't charge family. But I learned from the best. You taught me that family is only family when it's convenient for you. My mom reached for my hand. We can't afford that right now. Everything's tied up in the practice. Then I guess you'll figure it out. Like I had to figure out Christmas alone. Like I had to figure out every holiday, every birthday, every moment you made me feel worthless. I walked toward the door. Kirsten's voice cracked. So that's it? You're just going to let us drown? I turned back. I'm not letting you drown, I'm just not saving you. There's a difference. You made it clear I'm not really family. So stop treating me like I owe you something. My mom stood, desperate now. What about your grandmother? She wouldn't want this. She'd want us to stick together. I paused at the door. Actually, Grandma Rose and I talk every week. I had lunch with her yesterday. She knows everything. My mom's face went white. Everything? How you treated me, how you lied, everything. And she's made her own decisions about what family means. I didn't elaborate. I just left. I drove home with my hands shaking, but I felt powerful. For the first time in my life, I felt free. I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks. No apology, no follow-up, just silence. My aunt texted me. Apparently, Kirsten and Trevor had hired an expensive accountant and gone into debt to fix the audit issues. My mom complained to relatives that I'd abandoned the family in their time of need, but some of them reached out to me asking for my side. I didn't explain. I just sent them the screenshots. I let the evidence speak. Slowly, things shifted. Extended family started seeing the pattern. Several reached out with apologies for not noticing sooner. My business kept growing. Word of mouth brought new clients. My reputation was building. Grandma Rose's health stayed stable. We still had our weekly lunches. We never discussed the will. Standing in my own house one evening, looking out at my small backyard, I finally understood. For 26 years, I thought I needed their approval to matter. I thought being excluded meant I was the problem. But surrounded by people who actually valued me, Jenna, my clients, Grandma Rose, my real friends, I realized the truth. I didn't need a seat at their table. I needed the courage to build my own. In July, my mom sent one text. "I hope you're happy with yourself." I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it without responding. There was nothing left to say. Their silence used to terrify me. Now, it was the most peaceful sound I'd ever heard. If you've ever been the backup child, the one they only remembered when they needed something, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if you've ever had to walk away from family to find yourself, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most freeing. Hit that subscribe button if you believe you don't owe loyalty to people who only see you as useful. Your story matters. Your boundaries matter. And sometimes the family you choose is worth more than the family you're born into. I'll see you in the next one, and thank you for letting me share this with you.